There's a process.
God created you for a purpose, and that purpose must come to pass. Enough is enough. Stand up, leave them behind. Tell them I'm going somewhere.
Somebody is holding a position until the right owner comes. Somebody here must go home with a blessing.
I will overtake them. I will overtake them. If you believe that, shout hallelujah.
Christ in you is the hope of glory. Behold, I give unto you power.
What a mighty God we serve. This God is too much. And it's so big that the whole world cannot contain him. Because he's the creator of the whole universe. Do you have any problem? Come around. You will know that he can solve any problem. And I want you to know that Jesus loves you. And will love you too. I am Dr. Mercy Ezekiel. I welcome you to the hour of grace. And I want you to know that you are blessed because you are somebody. We love you.
Today we are going to see the authority of Jesus over Sabbath. Mark chapter 2, from 23 to the end. Read.
And it came to pass that he went through the cornfields on the Sabbath day. And his disciples began as they went to pluck the ears of the corn. And the Pharisees said unto him, Behold, why do they on the Sabbath day that which is not lawful? And he said unto them, Have ye never read what David did when he had need and was an hungry, he and they that were with him? How he went into the house of God in the days of Abiathar the high priest, and did eat the shewbread, which is not lawful to eat, but for the priests, and gave also to them which were with him. And he said unto them, The Sabbath was made for man, and not man for the Sabbath. Therefore, the Son of Man is the Lord also of the Sabbath.
Be seated. Three lessons. I will condense it to three. Lesson number one, begin to read from verse 23. Read yours.
Came to pass
It came to pass
that he went through the cornfield on the Sabbath day.
on the Sabbath day.
And his disciples began as they went to pluck the ears of the corn. And the Pharisees
The Pharisees
said unto him,
said unto him,
Behold,
Behold,
why do they on the Sabbath
why? Question. Why? You say you are a Messiah? You say you are who? Why? Don't you know about the law? Why? Question. Look at me. Finish it.
Why do they on the Sabbath day
Why do they on the Sabbath day
that which is not lawful?
that which is not lawful? Why? If there's a woman among the Pharisees, they will speak with a single eye. And a man will say, why? Whichever. Look at me. Sabbath is not a rule. It's not a program. It's not rules and regulations. It's not. Can I say straight? Sabbath is an experience. Have you experienced Sabbath in your life? It's not a question of day or month. No. It's an experience which every one of you must experience. Look at me. By the way, thou shalt remember the Sabbath day and keep it holy. Is it among the moral law or ceremonial law? Huh? Somebody is not in this church. Is this ceremonial law or moral law? Ceremonial law. But is in the 10 Commandments. 10 Commandments is moral law. Thou shalt not. Thou shalt not. When God said thou shalt not, it's for your own benefit. But that Sabbath keeping was fixed in the moral law. Why? Are we now going to keep day and never do anything about it? No sweeping of ground, nothing, no kitchen. It's a ceremonial law. Why? Why did God allow that ceremonial law to be shrined in moral law? That Sabbath is very, very important. Hear me. Because Sabbath means rest. It means rest. You may not commit adultery. You may not be stealing or a thief. You may not be a murderer. If you keep all these things, are you hearing me? If you keep all these things perfectly, and you have no rest in your soul, you are nothing. If you keep all these things, and God looked into your soul, no peace. You are nothing. That's why God put it there. For you to know that your soul will come to a rest. I will show you the place before I take up to point 2. Jesus said, come unto me, all you that labor and are heavy laden. I will give you what? Sabbath. Some of you here are not resting. You think, say, I'm talking about Saturday. No. It's not a day. It's an experience. Even though we worship on Sunday, which we may call Christian Sabbath day, because there's a day we gather together, the first day of the week, to celebrate the resurrection of Jesus. Quite okay. But Sabbath is an experience of the soul. It's a rest God has given to soul. Hebrews chapter 3, read it quickly. Hebrews chapter 3 from 7 to 19. Read.
Wherefore, as the Holy Ghost saith.
Who said?
Holy Ghost.
Church, who said? No, look at it well. Look at your Bible well. As George said. As elders said. As pastor said. Who said? Continue.
Wherefore, as the Holy Ghost saith.
Holy Ghost said.
Today.
How many? Which day? You may say, he's talking to the ancient people. He's talking to those Israelis. Mark you, Hebrew is an epistle. It's for the church today. Therefore, the Holy Ghost said, today, everyone say today. Don't wave it aside. Today, today. I'm talking to you today. I'm talking to you. Today,
if ye will hear his voice,
today, if you will hear the voice of the Spirit,
harden not your hearts,
harden not your heart. Don't let your heart be hardened.
as in the day of provocation,
As in the days of provocation,
in the day of temptation in the wilderness,
in the days of temptation in the wilderness,
when your fathers
when your fathers
tempted me,
proved me,
and saw my works
and saw my works. How
40
many?
years.
Hold on. Do you understand? Huh? You are funny. These people tested God, whether God will succeed or fail. They put him in test. You say you are Jehovah, we are going to test you. You say you are almighty, we shall test you. They put God to test for 40 years. How? No water for us. You say you're a provider. Let us know what you are going to do. God say, okay, is it water? That's a rock following you, walking. A rock. They don't know that the rock was following them. And that rock is Jesus. You are testing me? Rock. Give them water. And water oozed out. They say, okay, we drink. For 40 years. In Egypt, we are eating manna, we are eating bread. And in this desert, no food. Oh, you want food? They tested him. The food they ate, they never ate such a food in Egypt. Heaven, open, let there be manna. And when I rained down, when they saw manna, they said, what is this? They have never seen such a food before. What is this? Do you know why they say, what is this? Church? Do you know why they say, what is this? The thing was white. And if you are hungry for jollof rice, once you put that manna in your mouth, it will taste jollof rice. They tested him. If you say, oh, salad, take that manna in your mouth, salad. If you say, oh, pounded yam, take a mouth, pounded yam. They tested God and know that he's all powerful. And they proved him. Give God praise. For 40 years, no tailor, we have no tailor, no tailor to sew our dress. Oh, you want dresses? Okay. God commanded the dress they wear. You dress, continue to be new. No dirty. No tailor. No washman. For 40 years, they tested him. Every time they test God, God came out smoking. What else? My baby, if my baby is sick, no hospital here. If my baby vomits, no hospital here. You are testing me. I am Jehovah Rapha, the Lord that healeth no sickness. They tested him. For 40 years, They tested him. Even George, continue. They tested him and proved him and saw his works. What else? Read.
Wherefore I was grieved with that generation.
Because God was grieved. After doing all these things to them, they remained dormant.
And said, they do always err in their heart.
They always err in their heart, like today's people.
And they have not known my way.
They have not known my way.
So
I
swear in my wrath.
I swear in my anger
that they shall never enter into my rest.
They will not see Sabbath. Are you following me? It's an experience. It's not a question of day. They will not see my rest. I will not allow them to see Sabbath. Go ahead.
Take heed.
Take heed.
Brethren.
Lest
there be in any of you.
Lest there be in any of you hearing me now.
An evil heart of unbelief.
An evil heart of unbelief.
In departing from the living God.
In departing from the living God. After showing you all these wonders, you still remain dormant. And you departed from the living God. If you are God, what are you going to do? That's why he look at them and say, you will never enter into my rest. You can't enter into my Sabbath. And these Pharisees are saying, don't you know that today is Sabbath? They know experience Sabbath. They don't know the meaning. Finish.
But exhort one another daily, why it is called today, lest any of you be hardened through the deceitfulness of sin.
In case, if any of you be hardened
for we are made partakers of Christ, if we hold the beginning of our confidence, fast unto the end.
Steadfast unto the end.
Why it is said, today, if you hear his voice,
again, if you hear his voice,
harden not your heart.
Harden not your heart.
As in the day of provocation.
He repeated it again.
For some, when they heard, did provoke.
They provoke.
Howbeit, not all that came out of Egypt by Moses. But whom was he grieved for 40 years? Was he not with them that have sinned? Whose carcass fell in the wilderness? And to whom sware he that he should not enter into his rest? But to them that believe not.
To them that believe not. So
we see that they could not enter.
They could not enter into Sabbath.
Because of unbelief.
Because of what? There is only one way to enter Sabbath. Through faith. Now, read chapter 4 from verse 1. Read chapter 4 verse 1.
Let us therefore fear.
Church. Let us therefore what? Fear. Wait. Let us therefore do what? Fear. I beseech you this morning. Let us fear. Let us fear. You have tried God. You have tested him and proved him. And yet, you remain what you were. Read that chapter 4 verse 1 again.
Let us therefore fear.
Let us therefore fear.
Lest a promise
of Sabbath
being left off of entering into his rest,
being left off,
any of you should seem to come short of it.
Go ahead.
For unto us was the gospel preached.
For unto us was the gospel preached.
As well as unto them.
Gospel was preached unto them too.
But the word preached did not profit them.
The word preached does not profit them.
Not being mixed with faith in them.
Because they did not mix it with faith.
And hardened.
Read verse 3.
For we which have believed
For we which have believed. How many of you believe the gospel? For as we who has believed, what happened?
Do enter into rest.
Do enter into Sabbath. It's an experience. It's not a rule or regulation, it's an experience. If you believe, you enter into Sabbath. Your soul is now in Sabbath.
For we which have believed do enter into rest.
Do enter into rest.
As he said,
as
I have sworn in my wrath,
as I have sworn in my wrath,
if they shall enter into my rest,
if they shall enter into my rest.
Although the works were finished from the foundation of the world.
Do you hear that? This matter of Sabbath has finished before the foundation of the world. God has finished the work of rest before you were born. It's a ready-made. Read verse 4.
For he spake in a certain place of the 7th day on this wise. And God did rest in the 7th day.
And God did rest in the 7th day.
From all his works.
From all his works. God gave us an example. God, after finishing everything, not that he was tired. God cannot be tired. But after finishing the creation on the 6th day, he looked left and right. He created things. He said, it is good. It is good. It is good. It is good. Finally, after the last creation, God said it was very, very. And God said, now, I stop. Let me rest. My brother, my sister, you have struggled too much to go to heaven. The work of salvation was finished before you are born. It's for you to enter into it by faith. That is lesson number 1. Sabbath is not a rule or regulation. It's an experience. Point 2. Read that mark.
And it came to pass.
It came to pass.
That they went through the cornfield on the Sabbath day. And the disciples began as they went to pluck the ears of the corn. And the Pharisees said unto them, Behold, why do they on the Sabbath day that which is not lawful? And he said unto them.
Now that is point 1. We have seen that it's not rules and regulation. Are you following? Are you following? I cooled it down that you may follow. Okay, point 2. Read the other one.
And he said unto them,
Jesus said unto them,
have you never read?
Have you not read
what David did?
What David did
when he had need.
When he had what?
Need.
Have you not read what David did when he was in need? This blows people's mind. Sabbath, Sabbath. So if you're in need, you won't solve the need. When David was in need, what did he do? Read.
And was hungry.
He was hungry.
He and they that were with him.
He and they that were with him.
How he went into the house of God.
How he went where?
Into the house of God.
On Sabbath day. What did he do?
In the days of Abiathar the high priest.
He called the pastor Abiathar, the high priest. Not ordinary priest, the high one.
and did eat the shewbread,
and did eat the shewbread,
which is not lawful
it's not lawful for David to eat that bread.
to eat, but for the priests.
It's not lawful for David to eat that bread, but only for the priest.
And he gave also
He not only ate, he gave also
to them which were with him.
to them that were with him. Have you not read? I thank God for Jesus. Have you not read in that your Bible? That Bible you carry about what David did. Let us see what David did. 1 Samuel chapter 21. 1 Samuel 21.
Then came David to Nob,
Then came David to Nob,
to Ahimelech, the priest. And Ahimelech was afraid at the meeting of David, and said unto him, Why art thou alone,
Why are you alone?
and no man with thee?
And no man with you.
And David said unto Ahimelech, the priest, The king has commanded me a business, and has said unto me, Let no man know anything of the business whereof I have sent thee, and what I have commanded thee, and appointed my servant to such and such a place. Now therefore, what is under thy hand?
Now David asked Ahimelech, what is in your hand? Priest, pastor, what is in your hand? Go ahead.
Give me 5 loaves of bread in my
Give
hand.
me how many? Are you following? Give me how many? Do you understand? Give me 5 loaves. Give me 5 grace. I am not under the law of Sabbath. Give me grace. David requested this is give me 5 loaves. It is grace I want. I am in need. I am not under the law. I'm not breaking the law. I want that grace. 5 loaves of bread. Give it to me. David, is not for you, it's for the priest. I am in need. I am in need. Somebody who is in need is in need. So give me grace to solve my need. Is somebody following me?
Yes, sir.
Give me grace that will bring solution to my need. 5 loaves of bread. Number of grace to solve my need. Somebody here will not go out here with a need. Grace will meet your need. I say grace will meet your need. David said, give me grace. Give me grace to follow. Give me grace to follow. I'm in a journey. I will faint. Give me grace to follow. Do you know that song? Give me grace. Sing it. To follow. To follow.
Thy grace is enough.
One more
for
time.
me. Give me grace to follow. Abundant grace to follow. Give me grace to follow. Thy grace is enough for me.
This journey set before us is far. I want grace to follow. I want grace to continue. Please give me grace. Give me grace to follow. I want 5 loaves of bread. I want grace. I don't know whether you want grace. Can I take your loaves? Can I take your grace? Read more.
Now therefore, what is under thy hand? Give me 5 loaves of bread in my hand, or what there is present. And the priest answered David and said, there is no common bread.
There's no what? You may say common grace. Grace is not common. Are you hearing me? Grace is not. I will prove it. It's not a cheap article. It's not a cheap. You know, many times we Christians we do take things for granted. Grace, unmerited favor. My dear sister, I'm explaining the whole thing. I love you. How many of you, answer me, how many of you know that salvation is a free gift? Say yes. I don't hear you. I don't hear you yet. It's a free gift. Some people say no. Do you see it? Let us put it together. Some people say yes. Some people say what? No. Where are we going? Listen, let the Bible answer. Let the Bible answer. Have you finished reading? That place you start. Continue.
Answer David and said, there is no common bread under my hand.
No common bread, no common bread.
But there is a hallowed bread.
A holy bread.
If the young men have kept themselves
at least
from women. And David answered the priest.
David answered the priest
and said unto him, of a truth, women have been kept from us about 3 days.
Women have not come near us for 3 days.
Since I came out.
And
the vessels of the young men are holy.
The vessels of the young men are holy.
And the bread is a manna. The bread in a manner common. Yea, though it were sanctified this day in the vessel. So the priest gave him hallowed bread. For there was no bread but the shewbread that was taken from before the Lord, to put hot bread in the days when it was taken away.
Do you hear that? They ate that bread. Grace. Before I finish, let us see the people who ate that bread. Apart from David, let us see the kind of people that ate that bread. Chapter 22. Open chapter 22. 1 Samuel, from verse 1. Are you following me? Chapter 22, verse 1.
David therefore departed hence.
And
escaped to the cave Adullam. And when his brethren and all his father's house heard it, they went down hither to him. And everyone that was in distress.
Do you hear those people? Everyone in what? Distress. What is distress? You know. Go and search your script, your dictionary. Everyone that is what? Distress.
And everyone that was in debt.
You see the kind of people that ate that bread? People who were distressed. And people who were what? In debt. Humanly speaking, they are not qualified.
And everyone that was discontented.
Jesus said, I have not come to call the righteous, but sinners to repentance. Look at them. The people who ate the bread. Look at the kind of people. In other words, no matter who you are qualified to receive the salvation of God now. You are qualified. All in distress. All in debt. All discontented. Unfit. People who are not fit for the kingdom. And now I'm going to the kingdom. If it is question of qualification, I will not be there. I don't know whether any of you will be there. But the grace of God, 5 loaves of bread, finds you out. You are now heading to the kingdom. Give Jesus a clap, my friend. Let me stop there. If you read chapter 22, verse 14 to 15, read quickly.
Then Ahimelech answered the king.
Ahimelech answered the king
and said, and who is so faithful among all the servants as David, which is the king's son-in-law, and goeth as thy bidding, and is honorable in thy house? Then I did begin to inquire of God of him. Be it far from me. Let not the king impute anything unto his servant, nor to all the house of my father. For thy servant knew nothing all of this, less or more.
Go ahead.
And the king said, thou shalt surely die.
He told the high priest, thou shalt surely. Why? Because he gave grace. He gave grace to who? Do you know that our merciful high priest, Jesus, died for giving us grace? You think that it's a free going? You think that it's free? To you and me, it's free. But towards God, it cost him a lot. It cost him his own son to bring me to the kingdom. You say it's free? It's free because somebody paid for it. But from day one, it's not free. One thing I want to tell you is this. The wages of sin is... God never changed. But when I carried my sin, and you carry your own, we are sentenced to death in hell. Jesus said to the Father, Father, excuse me. Excuse me. I can see Ezekiel carrying too much sin. Father, I will take his place. I will die the death he will die. I will pay the price. So that Ezekiel will receive the grace to come to you. And Jesus took a place of Ezekiel. He was terribly disgraced, wounded for a criminal like myself. He died the death I would have died. At the end of the day, he said, Ezekiel, it is finished. Your sins are forgiven thee. And today I'm jumping and singing hallelujah. Maybe you are dancing and singing hallelujah too. You have received the grace which somebody paid for. It's not free from the beginning. Somebody paid for it. God is not joking. If you don't allow Jesus to pay the price for you today, you will pay it in hell. No two ways about it. God is not joking. And Jesus Christ put his life down and paid the whole price. Then, question, how can you escape if you neglect such a great salvation? How? 5 loaves of grace made the high priest to die. And you are here thinking whether you will repent or not. Make you not repent. Do you know how you are described? Those who are in debt, distress, and discontent. You want to remain that place? I beseech you. Move. I will close. Move. What a great salvation. I say this in quarter to closing. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believeth shall not good. Can I put it to you again? For God so hates sin, that whosoever that is in sin, he will close his eyes and dump into hell. No compromise. Now is the acceptable time. Today is the day of salvation. Choose whether you are in or out. 5 loaves of grace is given to unworthy people, misfits, but they ate and they were free. Finally, Mark 2:28, read. Wherefore,
the Son of Man
is
the Lord.
Also.
Also.
Everyone say also. I don't hear you. I don't hear you. Say it more. Again. Why also? Why? Thank you, Jesus. Thank you. The Son of Man is what?
The Lord.
The Lord.
Also. Of the Sabbath.
Of the Sabbath. Let me tell somebody now before I close. If you go to hell from this church, you will be in hottest place. Quote me what I said. If you go to hell from this place, you will be in the hottest place of hell. Why? Heaven knows. I pour out my heart with the pastors to you, telling you nothing but the truth. The Son of Man also is the Lord of the Sabbath. In closing, check it from heaven. Jesus is the Lord over all the angels. Archangels, he is the Lord over them. I mean the archangels, Michael and others. He is the Lord over the seraphs and cherubs. He is the Lord over ministering spirits, the angels. He is the Lord over them. He is the Lord over all the animals, over the cattle in thousands of hills. He is the Lord over the trees in the forest. He is the Lord over the fish in the mighty oceans. He is the Lord over all the animals. He is the Lord over all creation. Brethren, only one thing. Man refused him to lord over them. Man said, you can't lord over me. We don't want this man to be our king. You can't lord over me. Are you there? He can't lord over you. Okay, let us see. But I have told you, my hand is clean. Heavenly Father, I finished today. Help us. Help us. Help us. Shall we pray?
You are welcome back. I know you enjoy the Word of God, which is life. And I know your life will never ever remain the same after you must have had the Word of God. Please make best use of the Word. Don't let your life be the same again, because Jesus Christ is coming soon. Why don't you give your life to Jesus Christ? Today might be the only day you have. I call you to give your life to Jesus. And if you are sick, you are healed. We'll see you next week. Bye.
Join Me's outreach of Christian Pentecostal Mission International under the apostolic and prophetic ministry of God's anointed servants, Reverend Dr. O. Ezekiel, the General Overseer, Reverend Dr. Mercy Ezekiel, Co-Pastor, National and International Coordinator, and other anointed servants of God as they present Faith Clinic every Tuesday. At Faith Clinic, sinners become saints, the sick heal, the barren conceive, the oppressed are set free, the demon-possessed delivered. Time, 9 a.m. Me's outreach also extends love and antenatal healthcare prayer sessions for expectant mothers and pregnant women every Wednesday at 4 p.m. prompt. And also every Thursday at 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. for Business Commission, where men and women are commissioned with grace to succeed in business, career, family life, and so on. At Christian Pentecostal Mission International Headquarters, 10 and 12 Latif Salami Street, Ajawa Estate, along Murtala Mohammed Airport Road, Lagos. Me's outreach, reaching out to the troubled souls. Don't miss it. CPL, Jesus Christ is Lord. God has a plan for you, a plan to give you a bright future. Come and experience expository teachings and a powerful prophetic breakthrough service this Sunday at Christian Pentecostal Mission International with God's anointed servants, Reverend Dr. O. Ezekiel, the General Overseer, Reverend Dr. Mercy Ezekiel, Co-Pastor, National and International Coordinator, and other anointed servants of God. Worship with us this Sunday at 8:30 a.m. at Christian Pentecostal Mission International Headquarters, 10 and 12 Latif Salami Street, Ajawa Estate, along Murtala Mohammed Airport Road, Lagos. You can also worship with any CPM International branch close to you. It will be a time of salvation, healing, deliverance in the presence of God. CPM, Jesus Christ is Lord.